Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of The World Can Wait. And hold on a second, something funky is going on. I'm not sure why, but I'ma fix that.
What's the funky
That's never happened before. It's like it's using a different
camera?
screen. Yeah, it's using a different screen
Yeah, I'm looking and I'm seeing like there's
for some reason.
oh man.
Yeah, I don't know why, but whatever. We done got it fixed up.
Okay. Wonder how long. Does it still show me?
Yeah, it's still wonky, but I'm not gonna play around with it because yeah. Anyways, it's almost 10:30 at night. I don't know what's going on with it. We're gonna have it right though, don't worry about it. But we just wanted to come and wrap at y'all for a quick minute, just talk about a few things. Kind of talk about last week, what we got coming up in the future, a couple other things. But yeah, we're not gonna take too much of your time, so just hang with us for a minute. Kick it off to Charles real quick, and we're gonna get it started.
I wasn't ready for you to kick it off to me. I thought you were about to just keep talking.
Oh, my
But
fault, OG.
it's good because as we all know, I'm always down to talk. I guess I'll go ahead and open us in prayer. Did we open a prayer when we did meantime?
Um,
Or we just closed.
I think we felt like we normally just close. We just kind of get
Okay, well,
into it.
you can open us in some prayer. I'm gonna just talk. Um, so last week we wanted to have and endeavor to have the conversation of LGBTQ plus in the Christian world and reconciling the two, right? If you've ever been around Christians or Christian loving people or anything like that, I'm sure you've heard a lot of different things about the way Christians are supposed to feel about gay people or things that God allegedly said or the Bible allegedly says about being gay and what all that means and we do this thing where like we speak on it as if we like fully know everything about the Bible and fully understand it for ourselves. And it's gotten to this place where I don't know, like we just like as Bible believing people, we've taught the world that there are certain types of people that Jesus hates, which I don't know. I'm not familiar with that in scripture, but if you got it, let me know. And as it pertains to the conversation that we just had, there's been a lot of people that have been left to feel a lot of different things as it pertains to their sexuality, their identity, and their salvation, right? And it was so cool being able to speak with Kyle and just kind of hear a little bit about what it's like to be same-sex attracted um, and not find identity in sexual attraction, right? Because I feel like most of the times when I speak to, or when I have spoken to people about LGBTQ issues, it seems like none of it is really sexual in nature as much as it is identity based. And it was basically like he confirmed that, it was like, yeah, no, it's not so much sexual as much as it is identity. And it's like, oh, okay. And then we got to talking a little bit about the difference between him calling himself same sex attracted versus identifying as gay or a part of the LGBTQ community, and it was I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but ultimately I think it had something to do with like the political nature that's involved around LGBTQ, right? All of the movements and everything else. But it was a really cool, interesting conversation. We got to ask some questions that I'm sure you might have had if you ever thought about a gay person. It's like, whoa, like, can you be gay and really be a Christian? As a matter of fact, a lot of the questions that we asked were kind of based off of some questions that somebody once reached out to me and asked. You know, can gay people be pastors? Can gay people really be Christians? If you're gay and you're serving the Lord, does that mean eventually you're going to end up not being gay? Like, how does this work? I don't understand it because what people often like to do is, refer back to Leviticus where it's talking about like how homosexuality is an abomination. It's like, well, so how do we get here? And it's like, That's if it's not cool to be gay, and then why are people still eating shrimp and wearing polyester? And it's like, okay, you know what? I was about to go into a whole rant about people not having understanding of the things that they speak on. But ultimately, it was just a really dope conversation that I'm so glad that we got to have. I do wish that we were able to have more people participate in that conversation, but I understand that a lot of the conversations that we're having on this platform are difficult for people to participate in. Ultimately, most of the people that we try to get have no clue who we are on an individual level. Like some of them are familiar with the platform, but they don't know who we are on an individual level, and it's very easy to feel like this is a setup. I know that because if I wasn't me hosting these conversations and somebody reached out to me to be a part of one, I'm like, all right, what kind of fool are they trying to play me as on this live thing here? So like I get it completely, but we wanted to just definitely take this time and reiterate that that is not our goal. That's not our mission, our intent, our purpose. None of those things. Now, I will say this: there have been times where people have come up and ended up looking like fools. That is not of our doing. You know, like if you come on to a conversation and look like a fool, you did it to yourself. I ain't gonna go Gorilla Zoe on you, but yeah, you did it to yourself, right? Like at the end of the day, what we're about is exactly what we're constantly saying. Here. Having these conversations to share in perspective and to share an understanding and just like learn from each other and grow, which has happened and continues to happen. And as I constantly tell everybody, most of the people that come up here, I don't agree with most of the things that they say. But that's not what we're after. The reality is, if I feel one way about a thing, and if Dom feels the same way, and him and I only talk to each other about that thing, how could we possibly grow in that area? It's like impossible, right? Like we've already decided this is how we feel, and this is how I feel, and this is how he feels. Cool. There's no new information that's being entered into the equation. There's no new perspective being offered up. Whereas if you know Tommy comes into the picture and says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa," I think about it this way. I get to say, "Oh, huh, that's an interesting way of thinking about it." Now, notice I didn't have to agree, and I still haven't made up my mind whether or not I agree with Tommy. I just got some new information that's different than what I'm going to get from Dom because Dom and I are already in agreement. You know what I mean? And so that's like one of the hardest things that keeps happening season after season is finding people that are willing to come up here, whether it's fear of backlash, because that's a real thing. You know, when we have conversations with women, um, they're afraid of how coworkers are going to respond, how friends and family members are going to respond. When we did the drug culture conversation, so many people wanted to come and share their story, but they didn't want to deal with people in the comments telling them about a life that they've never lived. When we did the rape culture conversation, it was like super sensitive. Like, and we were able to get people on, thank God. But we also had a lot of people who were just like, no, I mean, I don't. I would love to do it, but I'm afraid because of X, Y, and Z. And so ultimately, I would like to issue two challenges, call to actions, however you want to look at it. Which is one, let's be the kind of people that don't make people afraid to share their understanding, their perspective, their experiences, all of those things. Right? I was in conversation with somebody earlier, trying to get him to join us tomorrow to talk about critical race theory, and I don't know how actually scared he is to be on the show, but what he said to me was, I'm worried that one of your viewers might disagree with something that I said. And he he didn't even feel like it had to be like anything extreme. He just felt like if they just disagreed with anything that he had to say or thought or felt, that they'd be looking him up and trying to find out where he works and lives and get him canceled and get him fired and ruin his life. And as preposterous as I thought that was, there is an element of that that has to be taken seriously, right? Because we do see it happening in the world where, when we disagree with certain things and we don't like when certain people say certain things, we do have a power as citizens of this world to ruin their lives. And we've seen that be actualized on people, and it's not nice. It's not cool. I mean, like, nobody likes accountability, right? But it kind of hinders us here. So the first challenge is being a people that isn't just so easily offended at other people thinking differently, right? Like, because we're all different people, we should think differently. And then the second challenge is, if you're somebody who has a different point of view, please, please share it. Like, we need to hear it. And then actually, I want to issue a third challenge, because another thing that I've encountered, I don't know about you, Don, but another thing that I've encountered is people feeling like their point of view is different than mine, and like that somehow disqualifies them from the show. When in reality, that person doesn't even know my point of view on the issue, right? Like, it's an assumed thing. So let's move away from these assumptions too. That you know how I feel, how Dom feels, how our other guests are going to feel, what we're trying to do. Like we're legitimately trying to have dope conversations. We're not trying to have the Trumpiest supporter and the Bidenist supporter we could ever find arguing up here fighting. Like, what Jay-Z said, never argue with fools. Like, I'm not trying to just have like the fool show. Dom's not trying to have the fool show. Like, like we're not. Like,
Ain't the Bible say that, and you out here crediting Jay Z? Heathen.
a wise man said, never argue with fools, because people from a distance can't tell who is who. If the Bible said it, then the Bible said it. But I'm quoting Jay-Z.
Wow,
Okay, he leaked.
disrespectful. Wow, I'm playing.
Look, yeah, man. That's all I got. I mean, it's probably not, but I'm saying that's all I got for now.
um, yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think the biggest thing for me is there hasn't. I can't think of a conversation that we've had where I've left the conversation not learning something new, not learning something that challenged my perspective, that forced me to grow in some area, even in places where I thought I had it right. When I'm presented with something, okay, well, I never thought about it like that. That's something to look into. And I can honestly say in the past year and a half, I feel like I've grown significantly in what I believe and things that I feel like are worthy of fighting for. Is especially something that I've really grown in is how I view women, which I
Yeah.
didn't view women crazy before, but there's so much in this past year and a half really that I've learned about women and about the struggles that they go through, that it's like fired me up to be a womanist. Shout out to Courtney for teaching me about womanism versus
When
feminism.
you said that, I was like,
So
that sounds like Courtney.
it is. Yep, it's exactly Courtney. But yeah, and that's something that I never would have come across on my own without having conversations like these. And so I say that to say, like, I'm not right about everything. I don't think I know everything. Charles thinks he knows everything. I don't know if he's working on that or not, but I don't think I know
No,
everything.
I'm not. I know everything.
See? um, so yeah, so when we want guests on here that may think differently than us or may not think differently than us and think that they do, the whole purpose is, look, we want to change the world by changing those around us, and we can't change anything if we don't challenge ourselves to think about things in different ways. And I mean, like Charles said, that doesn't mean that, as soon as I say something, you have to automatically accept it as fact. Or if you say something, I have to automatically accept it. But we at least need to be privy to all this information and then go about looking into it on our own. Like I said, I would have never heard the word womanist or womanism if not for that one conversation we had with Courtney on here. And I would have had no reason to go looking for the word womanism. But because it was presented to me, now I can go and look into it and learn about it and realize, okay, I like this. This makes sense. This is something I feel like I need to get behind. And really that's the overall goal. And that's not just for people that we bring on the show. That's for us too. It's for all of us. Um, so yeah, we, how do I say this? This is the reason that we try to find as many different perspectives as we possibly can. And you're right. I mean, in our day and age, with everything that we've gone through, pretty much since 2016 on, it does kind of seem like everyone is in a battle with everyone else. And so, like you said, like you can, even though to us it's somewhat of an irrational fear because we know what we're about, you can kind
Yeah,
of get that this is the climate that we're living in right now. And so it's not a shock to hear someone say they're afraid that they're going to get doxxed if they come on the show. But like Charles said, we're here to learn. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. And really, the only way that we can do that is by hearing things that we haven't heard before.
yeah,
Like Charles said, I don't need to talk to Charles about something that we both agree on already. It doesn't do anything for anybody.
right.
But if I hear from someone that I don't agree with and they present something I've never heard before, now I have something to at least think about and look into. And maybe when I research it, I find out, okay, nope, this still doesn't mesh with me. This still don't make no sense. Or maybe it makes perfect sense and I'll learn something new. But
You
yeah,
know,
that's the goal.
I was dangerously afraid that you were going to spill whatever liquid was in that can all over your electronics. You was out here like, yeah, like getting it, and I was like, damn, is he Italian? He's like, no, that ain't that.
It ain't but like
Like,
a corner left in there. So
I was about to get into how I don't even play them games. Like, yeah, wait. But I'm wondering if maybe we need to do a better job at like getting up here every now and then and just having conversations between the two of us and talking about things that we disagree with and just letting people know. Because like one of the reasons why I frequently submit that joke that I do, that constant joke of like Kanye being the GOAT. I mean, it's serious, but it's a joke. I always do that to let people know, like, yo, I really feel this way and he really disagrees. Like, that's a real thing that him and I have a conversation about, like ongoing, consistently. Like, and it's probably trivial to some, but he loves music and I love music. So, like to us, like it's real. And the fact that he doesn't understand really what's going on when he hears Kanye West, like literally blows my mind. It almost makes me not want to co-host the show with him. Like that's how serious it is. But he has a lot of other redeeming qualities that, like, I'm like, I can kind of overlook it, right? Like, but it's real. Like, as a matter of fact, there's like legitimately nobody that I agree with on everything. There's very, very few people that I agree with on most things. Like, even the people that are closest to me. But like, that's the beautiful thing about life. The differences, the changes, because we could agree today and then tomorrow disagree because growth happens, change happens. So yeah, like Dom said, I don't remember which portion of what you said I was going to quote, but Dom said something that should probably cause you to replay this back. um, and lastly, I'll say this: for those of you who have been on this journey with us and know what we're about, um, maybe I guess I'd like to challenge you all to expand, broaden your networking community. I feel like with the amount of people that are following us and tuning in, maybe not every week, but just tuning in enough to know who we are, we should have no problems ever finding a guest, right? Like we shouldn't. And the fact that we does says that all of us collectively aren't really doing what we should be doing, which is getting to know different people with different backgrounds and different stories. Um, Not being best friends with them. I mean, you can if you want to, but like you don't have to be best friends. You don't gotta like go over their house every Friday and eat pizza and drink beer. You don't have to like go to church with them. You don't have to have your kids in the same karate class. But you could just start a conversation with some people and just get to know how they view the world. Like and yeah, like we just got to do better, all of us.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. I mean, I'd be lying if I said it's not like a nerve wracking thing to have conversations with people that you may not agree with. And maybe that's not nerve wracking for all. I'm a people pleaser at heart. It's something I'm working on. But because of that, like disagreements don't come easy for me. So if I know I'm about to, okay, we're about to have this conversation and I know that this guest is coming and I don't agree with that guest, that makes me nervous like every time because I hate offending people, I hate making people upset, and I have to like work to like stand my ground. So it I understand that it can be a nerve-wracking thing, but I mean, we feel it's a very important thing for all of us to have conversations like this, like all of these, with as many people as we can. And also, yeah, like Charles said, we need you guys too. We need you guys to share the videos. You know, if you see a topic coming up and maybe you don't think you'd be right to talk about it, but hey, I know this person, they talk about this all the time. Maybe they'll want to come and talk about it. That helps too. That helps us get the amount of guests that we need to have like really expansive conversations and cover as many things as possible so that these conversations actually produce change. So yeah, it's a group effort, and the group is all of us. So yeah, we could really use you guys' help too. It would really help things go a long way to keep the mission going.
Yeah. And really quick before we go, on the flip side to Dom's like people pleasing point about the nerve wrackingness and having these conversations, I'm not somebody who's like, oh man, I disagree with this person. Um, how is this going to go? It's more for me like I disagree with this person. Lord help me not like read them the riot act type deal. Where because like I'm the kind of person who would just love to tell you all about yourself and how wrong you are and offend you. I'm not like intending to offend you, but it's going to offend you because like it's just who I am. You know what I mean? But so it's like it's. I think one of the things that it is for me, it's a good learning opportunity in that respect, where I just get to just practice shutting up and listening to people. Like my opinion, my viewpoint isn't always mandatory. It's not always required. I don't have to speak over somebody. I've learned how to disagree with somebody silently through this. Just like sitting there hearing things that I don't like and just being like, "Mm-mm." Like that's been the hardest part for me. But ultimately, look at the world around you. Like no matter who you are, no matter what you believe in, where you come from, look at the world around you. Look at the kinds of things that are happening in the world that you're not okay with. And then think about how they exist. And think about how a simple conversation could help for generations down the road. Like, just really think about that. Like, when you actually think about it, you're like, oh, wow. Like, yeah. Like, all of these evils and problems and craziness that exists in the world, like, the person that I spoke to earlier said something that was very similar to something that Dom said to me, where it was like, a lot of conservatives feel like what is it like their voices are being like silent or like they're being silenced.
The silent
Nobody
majority.
listens to them and all that stuff, and it's like, well, come up here and speak. Well, no, I can't because I'm afraid of the left. So how do we get around that? Like, do we just stay silent and resigned to our echo chambers? like, like I don't know. But I know that these conversations are therapeutic. They're helping. They're necessary, and that's all I got. What we got tomorrow, Dom? Because I don't even think we touched on that yet.
No, no, we didn't. Tomorrow, we are having a conversation on critical race theory. I
What
think
the hell is
it's, I, yeah, that's the thing, huh? Everyone kind of has their own definition of what it is. And I really feel like because of that, it's such a hot topic right now. People are against it because they believe it's this, people support it because they believe it's that. And for whatever reason, we can't all agree on what it is, what it does, what it looks like. I think a lot of that could be solved with research as well, but that can also be solved with talking to people, hearing things that you hadn't heard before, and then having something to go look up.
Yeah,
So that's what we plan on doing tomorrow is having a conversation on critical race theory, trying to find out, what exactly it is, why it's important. Is it important, or is it this big detrimental thing that's gonna, cause more racism in the country? yeah, so I'm looking forward to having that conversation. I think it's a
Hmm.
good time to have it with
You know
how
what would be a
big it
good
is in the country.
conversation?
What?
'Cause- so when you just said, will it cause more racism? I began to think, what would more racism in the country look like? Or would it just look like the foundation of this country? Like, what does it mean to be more racist in 2021?
I think
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, so this isn't tomorrow, but I'm really excited. I'm saying this up here because I'm excited and I want to garner a lot of momentum. I guess is a good word. I can think of it for what's coming though. But I just reached out to Dom yesterday, day before, something like that, with an idea to do a conversation talking about my nigga. Should white people use the N word? I think most of us have heard white people use the N word in real life and have feelings about it. Especially in 2021 when there's a lot of activism and social justice issues taking place, and it's like, okay. And backstory: I was watching the Carmichael Show. I don't know if y'all watch it. Funny show. I highly recommend. It's only 3 seasons, like 12 episodes each. And it's funny, and it's one of those ones that's like kind of conscious, but not like woke. You know what I mean? And there's all sorts of issues being discussed through the lens of the black family. So if you're familiar with Man of the not Man of the House, Last Man Standing with Tim Allen, it's something similar to that, just the black family, right? And in this particular episode, it was Rod's mom's birthday, and they're going out to eat for her birthday, and they want to go to the hood spot that they normally go to. And he's like, "Yo, I got a friend who his family owns this dope restaurant. Like, let's go there." And they're like, "Oh no, like that's the white people place. Like, we're not supposed to go there." And then they go, and then the dude walks up to Gerard. He's like, "Yo, what's up, my nigga?" And like his whole black family is sitting back behind him, like, you just let this white dude call you nigga? And he's like, bro, it's like, it's, dog, he didn't mean it offensively. It wasn't nothing crazy. And like I know dude, like it's just whatever. You're only upset because you've been taught as black people that you're supposed to be upset. But the reality is he's not racist. Like he wears J's, this, that, and the third. And it's like, huh, okay, let's have a conversation. Because he makes points. I'm not going to say whether or not they're good ones, but he does make points. And yeah, and I think it's a conversation worth having. So I hope you're excited about that, like I am. Um, should we get white people on the show on that one, or just black people? Be interesting.
if we can.
I'm pretty sure I can get a cut. Yeah, we can get some white people. Okay, yeah. So that's not next week, or maybe it will be. I don't know. Like things kind of changed a little bit because the world's crazy. But tomorrow is CRT, which does not stand for cathode ray tube, stands for critical race theory. CRT TVs. Like you're looking like, what are you talking about?
No, I get it. It was
Okay,
just
it's a lame dad joke. Forgive me. It's 10:50. I should be off this thing. With that said, Dom, you want to close us in some prayer?
yeah,
Unless
I'll
you got
close this
anything
out.
else other than
Nah,
like, share, notifications, share with your friends, hit us up if you're trying to be on any of the conversations. What we're going to start doing after our next break is putting out all of our planned episodes like at the beginning. So that way, if it's something that you're interested in or know somebody that would be dope for it, you can just be like, "Hey, I would like to join you for this one and that one and the third, and whatever else." But yeah,
all right. Well, that's that. I'm gonna close this out real quick, and we're gonna get out of y'all's hair. Thank you, God, for this time to have this specific conversation. Thank you that it was productive, that it would reach the right ears, and we're able to continue on this mission and see change around us. I ask that the conversation to come will be productive, and all the ones after that. In your name we pray. Amen.
amen.
All right, y'all. Yeah, that's that. Like I said, we're gonna get out your hair Remember, make sure you're liking, sharing, following, all of that stuff. And we will see you guys tomorrow.